What's good, YouTube? You already know who it is, man. It's your boy Jerry Fitman, and we're back to react with what's new on the tube, bro. I missed you guys, man. Bro, it's been a freaking minute, man. A couple of weeks, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all sticking with me through it, bro. 90 subscribers, bro. 90 subscribers. I just want to say thank you all, bro. Like, dude, this journey's been incredible so far, and I'm telling you that we're just getting started. Like, dude, when I started this channel, man, I wrote goals out for myself that I wanted to put out at least like 100 videos for like the whole second half of the year. And, like with how quickly you guys responded to me like posting these videos, bro, I just grew my passion so much more. So, like, I'm already over 100 videos on the summer. So we just got bigger things coming, man, for the rest of the year. And, as long as this YouTube channel is up, we're going to keep pushing, bro. I appreciate you guys, as I've been transitioning into a bunch of different things, man, I had to take a step back from my YouTube channel. I just like I said, I appreciate you guys still watching my videos and running up the subscribers. Like I still gained I think like 6 subscribers over the time, or like four or something subscribers over the time that I haven't been recording and stuff. So that's just real love, man. I really wanted to establish a base before I started, picking up on the other side of, work and stuff like that. But, we're back today, man. We got a banger video, man. We got chilling scares, 4 most disturbing Reddit confession posts, man. Damn, man, it feels good to be back recording, man. We're here, and yeah, you guys know the drill, man. If you want me to react to anything, make sure you leave it in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, man. We're just gonna keep turning up, and we're gonna keep growing, guys. 90 subscribers, man. Road to 100, man. Road to 100. Let's go. Let's jump into it.
Asked a grim yet straightforward question on r/askreddit, stating, "What is the most messed up thing you have ever done?" Initially, replies to this were filled with either obvious jokes
Bro, Reddit
or
always has
relatively
some
tame
weird
confessions
shit.
involving relationship drama. However, after about 30 minutes of the post being live, one user replied with a disturbing comment that stood out from the rest. It read, "I ran over a woman and her child in California
Bro,
in
what the
96.
fuck?
I don't remember the specific city, but I'll never forget it was the intersection between Van Wyn Street and Louis Avenue. I think the mom died, but I don't remember what happened to the kid. I got away scot-free. I'm only telling this because the statute of limitations already passed."
Nah, dude, what
Now,
the
it's not
fuck?
common for people to just make up shocking stories on Reddit.
I mean, yeah.
And at first this didn't look any different, until another user did some digging and discovered an LA Times article from July of 1996 about what seemed like the same incident mentioned in the comment.
Bro, what are the odds that you guys think that this person actually did it, dude? Do you think that they read that shit before they posted? Or that they just did that shit and just actually the statute of limitations, how does the statute of limitations pass for something like that? That's murder, bro. Hit and run? There's a statute of limitations on shit like that? Bro.
Article, along with others
That's
from
some
the time,
fucked
not
up
only
shit.
confirmed the OP's claims, but also revealed the horrifying details of what actually happened that day.
Oh, hell
According
no,
to the
bro.
reports, the victims of this incident were a 19-year-old girl named Ruby Moreno and her 1-year-old daughter.
Ruby
Ruby had taken
family,
her daughter
man.
to a nearby hospital on the morning of July 29 to treat a few minor cuts she got while playing. She stopped at a relative's house on Van Wyn Street on her way back and was about to return home at around 10 p.m. But as she was attempting to get into her car on the driver's side, she heard a loud screeching noise from behind.
Bro.
She looked back and saw a car barreling towards her at 100 miles per hour.
Dude, what the
According to other
fuck?
witnesses, this car had swerved to avoid hitting a van just seconds earlier,
Oh
causing
my
it to lose
gosh.
control. Seeing this, Ruby panicked and started running from the speeding car with her daughter still in her arms.
Wait, what?
Unfortunately, luck wasn't on her side.
Why didn't she just get in the
Before she
car?
reached the sidewalk, she tripped into the street and was struck by the car moments later.
Damn, man, I'm mad confused.
Flying over a parked car and onto the roof of another.
Oh my
It
gosh.
also tossed several feet into the air before falling on the asphalt. Miraculously, the baby didn't receive any lethal injuries and was able to survive without any lasting damage to her body.
What?
Ruby, however, wasn't as fortunate. She was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to her injuries the same night. As for the driver that hit her, witnesses reported him trying to flee the scene, hitting another parked car and then a car.
Bro, what is good with this guy?
And from everything I could find, the perpetrator was never identified or arrested. So, if this Reddit user was telling the
Bro.
truth, there's a real chance he was the driver behind the brutal hit and run nearly 3 decades ago. The report from 1996 also mentioned that the driver was likely intoxicated due to the way he behaved after hitting Ruby. And when asked, the user admitted that this was the case. Were you drunk at the time, as the article says, or were they wrong about that? Inebriated, sure. More high than drunk. I was on a lot of junk back there.
Wow.
But the most disturbing part of his confession was just how cold and remorseless he seemed about the entire incident. Why no sympathy? Was this on purpose? No, but it's been so long. It's like a whisper of a memory.
Bro,
Do you think
what?
about how that child has to live without a mother now? Genuinely asking, you seem stone cold. It's been 30 years. That child probably has children of its own. I seem stone cold because I've already been through all the stages of emotions. I've justified myself, I rotted with guilt, I've had sleepless nights. I'm an old man now and I'm waiting to die any moment. I can't
Wow.
change what I did. I can't even pay for my crime anymore because California doesn't send people to prison only on a confession, and regardless, my health alone would render me incompetent to stand trial. There's nothing tying me back to that day.
Wow.
Which brings us to the big question, was the OP actually telling the truth?
Bro, what
Unfortunately,
the
the answer to
fuck?
this is a bit more complicated than it initially seems. For starters, his story does match an actual incident that happened back in 1996, right down to the exact intersection he mentioned in his confession. He also added several details that didn't seem made up, and he even gave a reason for why he was finally willing to confess now, because the statute of limitations had long expired. That said, there also seems to be some potential inconsistencies. Some reports claim the driver was with another passenger, and that they actually fled on foot. However, the OP not only didn't mention any passenger, but also claimed that he's still in the car. He even cited its damaged condition as the reason he became aware of the accident, writing, "What was your reaction to what happened? I was too hopped up on various types of drugs to notice. It was only the day after when I saw the dry blood on my bumper." This could point to the possibility that the OP wasn't behind Ruby's accident at all. He maybe stumbled upon the 1996 article online.
That's what I said, bro. I said that before
The
the story finished.
and then fabricated the rest of the story as users pressed him with more questions, all just to get some attention on the internet. But
That's what I'm saying, bro. I literally asked if murder has fucking statute of limitations, dude.
Don't know. Although if he was telling the truth, several users have already alerted.
Let's go, bro. Smart reacts, bro. Stay in school, man. Stay in
In May of
school.
2012, a Reddit user asked others to share a secret which, if came out, could ruin their lives. And while this post received over 44,000 comments in total.
Wait, hold on. I ain't even read. What'd they say?
This post user asked others to share a secret which, if came out, could ruin their lives. And while this post received over 44,000 comments in total, one chilling confession stood out above the rest.
Gosh.
About 9 hours after the original post went up, a user replied with a haunting story of his own, reading, "I accidentally killed 7 people. I put a rag into a new water heater exhaust to keep debris out and installed it in a rental. I get a call a week later. There's been an accident. I show up and there's a ton of EMS and police. They ask me where the gas shutoff is, and I go down to shut the gas off and see the end of the rag I forgot sticking out of the top of the heater. Rip the rag out, shut the gas off, and headed upstairs, only to be told all the tenants were dead. I drink all day now and sleep. It's killing me from the inside every single day, but if I say anything, my family's ruined. We have a bunch of rental properties what? This reply caught the attention of thousands of other users who wanted more details on what exactly happened. Unfortunately for them, the account that posted this was a throwaway, and the OP didn't post a single comment after that, possibly to avoid incriminating himself any further.
Bro.
But when users didn't get the answers they were looking for from the OP, they began looking outward. And it didn't take long for someone to track down the news article talking about the tragic accident.
No way, bro.
Reports, the incident took place on December 16th, 2006.
This was fucking real?
Where 7 victims, including 5 young adults and 2 children, passed away in their sleep due to carbon monoxide poisoning. However, while this part matched what the OP said in his comment, the conclusion the investigators reached was completely different. In his report, the police chief superheading the investigation stated that the heating system was functioning properly and was not the source of any problem. Instead, one of the victims' vans was left running in the closed garage. This generated a lot of carbon monoxide throughout the night, which slowly filled the apartment and eventually ended the resident's life.
Wow.
So, did the OP really get away with killing 7 innocent people because of his gross
negligence? That's crazy that somebody would take that story and run with it like that.
There are multiple possibilities, and any one of them could be true. For instance, if we assume that OP was telling the truth from his perspective, it's completely possible that the accident did have nothing to do with the heating system. But since the OP saw the wreck stuck in the heater, he assumed it was his fault and has been blaming himself ever since. On the other hand, there's also a chance that everything unfolded exactly as the investigation concluded.
Why do you guys
OP
think,
just
man? That's like crazy to think about. Like maybe he just saw the rag and coincidentally thought that that's what happened.
this real accident and made up the story about him forgetting the rag for attention on Reddit. This would also explain why the police would let him casually walk into a potential crime scene without any supervision. We can even take this a step further and assume that the OP wasn't even the landlord and just read about the incident online.
Yeah.
That all said, it's still completely possible this story is legit and that the rag was the cause of the deaths, or perhaps a combination of the van and the rag. The OP hasn't posted any new updates on his throwaway account in the last 13 years.
Wow.
So, whatever the truth is, we may never know for sure.
That's wild, man. That's some wild shit.
On May 2nd, 2017, users on the Canada News subreddit came across a lengthy post titled, "Wanted for Kitchener Murder, My Side."
What?
This was a reference to a horrific murder that took place in Kitchener, Canada just a few days earlier. And to everyone's shock, this post was written by the prime suspect, Ajer Hussein. He was still on the run, but wanted to tell the internet what exactly happened on the night of the incident. However, what seemed like a desperate attempt to share his side of the story would later turn out to be a part of his plan to evade the consequences for his actions. Though the events that led up to this started 15 months earlier in February of 2016, when 21-year-old Ajer Hussein met 21-year-old Melinda Vasilier in Kitchener. The two quickly became infatuated with one another and began dating just weeks after their first encounter. However, while things went quite well for the first year or so, the two eventually started bickering and fighting with each other. This resulted in the two breaking up in April 2017 via text, and that's when things took a turn for the worse.
Hey, man.
Not long after their breakup, Adria attempted to break into Melinda's home through her patio, but was spotted by her friend Anna and her boyfriend. They also called the police on him, forcing him to leave Melinda alone.
Bro,
However,
like,
he kept texting her even after this incident,
bro,
asking
this
to
is
meet her at
not
least
like
one
what
last
you should
time.
be doing,
She
bro.
eventually agreed and invited him to her home,
No,
hoping to
bro.
talk things through and end the relationship on respectful terms. They decided to meet on the night of April 27th, but when the time came, Adria didn't show up. Melinda had asked her friend and sister to stay with her at home while Adria was visiting. However, since Adria was a no-show, she gave them the go-ahead to carry on with their night and the two left. They returned shortly after midnight, and to their surprise, discovered that Adria had shown up while they were gone and was now in Melinda's room with her.
Oh, okay.
The girls confirmed Melinda's safety before heading off again to get food. This trip took barely 30 minutes, but by the time they came back, things had somehow spiraled into a complete nightmare. The apartment was in complete disarray. There was no sign of Adria anywhere. And as they stepped further into the apartment, they found Melinda lying face down on the kitchen floor in a pool of blood, with her body covered with dozens of wounds. They rushed in to check on her, but tragically, it was already too late.
Bro.
Melinda had no pulse. After composing themselves, they contacted the police and told them everything they knew, sparking a nationwide manhunt for Ajer.
Dude,
However,
this dude,
despite
what?
days of
Look at this picture, man. Like, what is good with this dude, man? Are you kidding me? Bro, dude. Guys, there's always going to be plenty of more fish in the sea. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is never, ever a reason that you need to go back and take somebody's life after you've left a relationship, bro. Like, dude, this dude was stalking her. Like, I wanted to say something way back when they said he kept texting her after he broke in or got caught trying to break in, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, genuinely, man. What goes through somebody's head when they do something like this, man?
The investigators were unable to
look
find
at this
any
picture,
details on
dude.
Whereabouts. That is until a post from Ajer himself popped up
Oh
on
my
Reddit explaining
gosh.
everything that
Wait, how did they know that it was him?
He opened his monologue by going over the history of his and Melinda's relationship, how they were perfect together, and that he was even planning on proposing to her before everything fell apart.
No.
After spending a bit more time going over the timeline of the relationship, he moved on to talking about the day of the incident. And according to him, this is what happened after Melinda's friend and sister checked up on them. We continued to talk and finally decided it was worth it to try one more time. Anna and her other friend left the house to grab food. We both let everything out and our relationship was back on track. As I'm getting ready to leave, she asked me if I had done anything with any other girls while we were on a break, or any time we were on a break. I told her we needed to be honest and said yes and told her about it. She started freaking out, wouldn't say a word, just kept slapping me with tears in her eyes. Slaps turned into hits. I told her I was sorry, but if she didn't stop, I'd do something back. She didn't stop.
Bro, why
I then
didn't you just
stupidly
walk out then at that point though? You know what I mean? Like as the man in the situation, bro, you need like you just need to have enough like, you know, I don't even know how to say this, bro, but like you just need to have like even as just like not even just like as a man, bro, like just need to have enough self-control to know that you need to keep your hands to yourself. And I mean, not to victim blame or anything, but like, dude, if you were in a situation that you knew you were gonna act stupid in, you should have just walked away from the situation. I think that's what I was trying to say from the beginning. Had to gather my thoughts a little bit. Professional reacts, you know what I'm saying?
her harder than I
Gotta think about
expected.
it.
She fell against the sink. This was the first time I ever did something physically violent towards her.
I don't
I
think
told her
so.
I
I
was
don't think
sorry.
that's true.
She said,
What do you guys
leave
think?
now. I began saying sorry even more and asked if I could get a hug.
Oh my gosh, bro. Dude, this nigga talking about something. Can I get a hug, bro? You just cracked your head on the. What did it say? She fell. I'm trying to read. Oh, I thought it said. Oh yeah, she fell against the sink. Yeah, she fell against the
Crying.
sink,
I go
bro.
up to her to try and give her a hug. Almost out of nowhere, she grabs a knife by the sink. Initially, I thought she was just going to hold it to try and tell me to leave. She
Bro.
doesn't. She comes at me full force, moving
Wow.
towards my face. I tell her to stop. She doesn't. I tried grabbing the knife, but ended up cutting my hands. After a few cuts, I lost it. I freaked out. I was scared and in a state of shock. Never in 100 years did I think she would use a knife against me. Out of shock and fear, I grabbed one. I hit her with it, almost blindly, a few times.
What do you mean
I
you
didn't
hit
know
her
what
with it? You
happened.
stabbed
I
her?
was confused, shocked, and scared. I had no intentions of that happening. When I left, I honestly thought she just passed out. Then I looked at the blood and started freaking out and just ran. I didn't know for sure she had died until the next day. I honestly had no intention of ever doing that to her. I was protecting
This
myself.
dude, man.
From there, he went on to talk about the amount of regret and sadness he was feeling for what happened to Melinda. He also expressed his shock over the news calling this a targeted attack. Now, on their own, these looks like the words of a man desperately trying to
Bro,
clear his name after
why do they
everything.
keep showing these
In reality,
pictures?
every word in this post was carefully selected by Adrian to make himself look as innocent as possible. For instance, he claimed that Melinda often slapped and hit him near the beginning of his story,
See,
so that he doesn't
exactly,
seem
bro.
suspicious when he mentions it later. When, according to people who knew her, Melinda was extremely sweet and had no violent tendencies. Adrian also downplayed the break-in
I
with
mean,
his
I'm just
co-
saying, like, not to victim blame again, but I'm just saying, like, not everybody is as they seem, you know, when they're inside of a relationship. You know what I'm saying? People can be two completely different people when they're in a relationship versus when, you know, they're with their friends and shit. You know what I mean?
who merely visited her house to talk, and even left out the part about Melinda getting a restraining order against him following that incident.
Bro,
He also
see, you're
mentioned that he
cooked,
swung
man.
his knife just a few times
Like,
and
bro,
so
why are
forth.
you even going near her when you have a restraining order, dude? Like,
When in reality,
I don't believe
autopsy
anything he
results showed a
says at this
staggering
point.
47 different wounds on her body. Luckily, by this point, the police knew that he crossed the border a few hours later and was now hiding in the US. And while it did take them a few weeks to pinpoint his
Oh, he
location,
was
they
in
were eventually able to
Canada.
arrest and charge him with the murder of his once girlfriend.
Bro, so this
Further
was.
investigation also
Why
revealed
would he
other
post
twisted
about
methods
it?
he tried to seem more innocent, like sending a message to Melinda saying, "Nice seeing you tonight. Glad we worked things out. Anyways, see you soon." Hours after committing the crime. He stood trial on October 2023, where the jury concluded his motive boiled down to, "If I can't have you, no one can." He was given a life sentence with the possibility of
Good,
parole after
bro.
16
Bro,
years.
this dude's tripping, man. This dude's straight up tripping, bro.
On June 7, 2019, a throwaway account made a post on the Confession subreddit claiming to be responsible for the deaths of several people.
Why do people
The
feel
post opened
comfortable
with the
just
open
typing this
talking
shit
about his
out,
life
even if they're
goals
like
4 years ago,
pranking?
how he didn't get stuck in a 9 to 5 cycle. So he came up with a different business plan, selling substances. However, this really didn't work out as well as he'd hoped. He hated meeting people in person and was constantly afraid of someone finding out who he was and where he lived. But then he learned about a popular marketplace for illicit substances on the dark web and started using that to conduct business. Things were going well, and even upgraded from selling just 3 substances to shipping several much more potent options as well.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, what started as a major boom for his business turned into a massive disaster when he accidentally sent the wrong items for a few orders, stating, "I put all my addresses into an Excel spreadsheet along with their name, zip code, order,
Bro,
along
that's
with the amount.
nuts.
At the time, I was selling some super white powder. The was also a white powder. very similar consistency. Long story short, my Excel messed up or I messed up, and about 7 people's mail-in orders were filled in as orders. They all went out. I didn't notice and kept doing my thing for a few days. After about 5 days, someone contacted me and told me their friend died from my I immediately called BS and went to check my order log and scale up how much I had of my left. Well, I had about 11 grams more than I should have. I still don't know how it could have happened. I wasn't a user, but I definitely was high. Put simply, the
What?
OP accidentally sent a much harder substance to his customers. And while I can't mention its name on YouTube, it is known to be extremely lethal in even relatively small quantities.
Y'all gotta stay
We
off
later
that,
searched
man.
the names of these customers online and discovered that at least 5 of them had passed away due to his mistake.
Say no to
The
drugs,
sheer
man.
gravity of his actions prompted him to immediately abandon the drug trade and rebuild his life, stating, I immediately deactivated my vendor account. I didn't even need confirmation. I knew what happened. I knew I just killed several people. I sold the rest of my drugs, converted my Bitcoin to cash, and moved away. Didn't speak to anyone for weeks. Found a job in a restaurant, living in a city I always wanted to.
Wow.
I haven't touched drugs since that day.
What
I
a
haven't had
fucking
anything to do with that
story,
life
dude.
since then. However, the OP ended the post by claiming that, despite getting as far away from his old life as he possibly could, the guilt of being responsible for so many lost lives still weighs heavily on him, and that the only reason he confessed everything on Reddit was to finally get it off his chest, hoping it might bring him some sense of relief. Now, whether this actually helped him feel any better or not is completely unknown. This was his first and last post from this account, and he hasn't posted any updates
That's
since.
wild as
As
hell,
for if he
bro.
was actually telling the truth, that much is uncertain. It's near impossible for me to track down any news articles about his unfortunate customers, given that over 100,000 people every year lose their
Yeah,
lives from that
exactly.
same substance. That said, many users in the comments believe the story was genuine, and some even expressed sympathy for the OP's situation, though I doubt we'll get any concrete answer on this confession's legitimacy anytime soon.
That's fucked, man. Hey, bro, that's gonna do it for this video, man. First video back, bro. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. You already know we're coming with the bangers, man. As soon as possible, bro. We're just still getting adjusted, man. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. You already know what I'm gonna tell you to do. If you like that kind of video, or have any videos that you want me to react to, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, man. We're bringing the heat, man. We're gonna keep working hard. I'll see y'all in the next video, man.